Hello, welcome to the Warrior Wildlife Show. Today we have an incredible woman that I'm so grateful to have met. Tonya from Power Pantaloons. How are you?
I'm good, Amanda. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's an honor. After being on your show, you definitely inspired me, and I really needed to host you and have another conversation with you. You are such an inspiring woman.
Thank you. I love our chats.
Yes,
I
oh,
learned
thank
from
you.
you as well because you have a young one right now and mine just graduated high school.
I know, congrats. Such an important
Thank you.
step. Well, do you want to introduce yourself? Talk about who you are and what you do. What's your story?
Sure. My name is Tonya Belargin, and I am the host of Power Pantaloons. It's a podcast where I talk about um, my cancer journey. In 2007, I was diagnosed with a carcinosarcoma of the uterus. If you don't know what that is, it's two different cancers. A healthy uterus weighs about 4 ounces, and when they took mine out, it was over 10 pounds. So, with mindset, having the right support network, and using alternative wellness modalities in addition to what my oncologist recommended, I'm still here. And it's my mission to help we're going to use the B word, over 1 billion people navigate the devastating diagnosis of cancer.
Ah, you are a powerful woman, such a journey. And here we are today talking about it and inspiring others. I don't know, maybe you know the statistics, but their cancer rates are probably very, very unfortunately high.
One in every two people will have some form of cancer before they die, according to the American Cancer Society. That's the current statistic.
That is,
Back when I was, yeah, back when I was diagnosed, which was 16 years ago, the statistic was 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men. So it has increased over the past 16 years, which, you know, goes to show the food we eat, the air we breathe, I feel like a guinea pig sometimes. I don't want to sound too crazy pants.
just power pantaloons, not crazy pants.
Yes, yes, just Power Pantaloons. There's a
Oh
story
my.
behind that.
Go ahead, please share. I love the name, it's so intriguing.
So, I wanted a real nice, business like, but we have to be authentic. We have to be true to ourselves.
Yes.
The number one thing on my to-do list, the only thing on my to-do list every day while I was going through cancer was to change my underwear. And I'd take off my dirty ruse and I would put on a clean pair of Wonder Woman's panties because Wonder Woman can't die. That was my physical representation of actively choosing to live every day.
Yeah. Talk about tangible mindset right there.
I think mindset is absolutely huge. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I have two really impactful for me quotes, and that's one of them. The other one has something to do with someone else's opinion being none of your business. I'm paraphrasing, and that one is Steve Harvey.
Oh man, but yeah, it's true. You're
It
right.
is true.
Whatever you think, if your brain thinks it, you're right.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Tangible mindset. I can imagine that being very empowering, like every day, daily. That in your normal day life, it's so insignificant, right? You're just, you don't think about how just getting dressed and putting fresh underwear is such a self-care act, like
it
caring for
is.
yourself and your well-being. But wow,
It is. In this world, sometimes it's difficult to change your underwear, take a shower, brush your teeth, run a brush through your hair, because as an adult, whether you're a single parent or even if you have a partner, well, both partners have to work. Somebody has to cook the food, somebody has to rear the children. And back in the 50s, there was a stay-at-home person who ran the house. Well, now in this economy, you also have to have a full-time job or two or three and still maintain a house and get all your errands done in your free time. It's very complex.
As a stay-at-home solo mom, running a household, just like the house and the daily life of feeding, caring for kids, let alone finding some time for
Yourself.
your own self and your own self-care. And who would have thought maybe a few hobbies to really, feed your mind and feed your creativity. It takes time. It is a full-time job. Raising your kids is the most important job. You are raising the future.
Yes.
And I can only imagine if you're working one, let alone two or three full-time jobs. If you
Yeah.
or both parents are doing that, then the most important job is delegated to someone else, which
Yeah.
is
And some people unfortunately are in that situation and they don't have a way to be out of that situation.
mhm, is
I
very
think a lot about that. I think a lot about where humanity is. I think a lot about how it's overwhelming. And then on top of that, you have all of this extra stimulus because of social media and having a smartphone and being connected all the time. I
mm,
know that you are big on disconnecting, and running around wild and in the woods barefoot and picking flowers and eating berries. And I relate to that. No, why are you laughing?
I was laugh because it's like I'm just gonna sign my name right here. This is my story, pretty much, because it is so true. It's really about unplugging the device and the technology to reconnect with yourself, with your truest home, which is nature, and with your own inner voice, which is your intuition. The
Yeah,
more you're plugged in and you're connected, basically we've shifted. I feel like the world has shifted the way we connect. Usually you would connect with, first of all, with your own intuition, with your own voice, and then you would connect within the community. You would have some circles, some gatherings. You would really have that village. And then obviously you would connect with nature through grounding, through the food, through foraging, through all of this abundance, right?
just
At your
being
doorstep.
outside.
Just by being outside, the sunshine, the ground, the flower, all the bees, the birds, going to hunt or going, to fish barefoot in the river with your homemade net. Now your connection is through Wi-Fi, which is running all of its, I don't know what it's called, the ERF, MRF. Don't get from me on the wording, but like all the electrical field, all the electrical like energy that's always. I don't have Wi-Fi in the home. I'm running on the data, so it works. But it's always
Interfering is
running.
fine.
You connect through through social media, like you said. You connect. There's no more person to person, or much less. So
Yes, but we have to be grateful for it,
yes,
especially over the last couple of years with
oh yeah.
with COVID,
Mm,
having internet. As humans, we need physical touch. It's part, like, we need it to survive. But it imagine being somebody who lived alone
mm,
through that, and we weren't allowed out, we weren't allowed to interact with each other. So a
mm,
lot of people turned to social media, and it helps their mental health.
oh, for
So
sure.
we can be grateful for it in that regard. We need to find a balance between that and yeah, we as people don't have time for the old-fashioned cocktail parties or game night or whatever we were doing 20 years ago without the internet. I don't
Yeah.
remember. It was a long time ago. Movies with our friends, out to dinner, just clubbing, going
Yeah,
going going dancing, you know.
I don't know. 20 years ago, I was 8, running barefoot in the
Not
garden with my mom.
quite 8. Oh my God.
I know, young body, old soul, right? But
Yeah, but
But you have, through your own journey, you've reconnected with nature. What were your, how did
uh,
you reconnect with nature? How did you make it a priority to heal and to grow? Well, to heal and grow as yourself, not, you know, not grow the cancer.
well, I mean, when you're dealing with that, you turn into a cat and sleep about 20 hours a day, and you really don't get to do an awful lot except be the cancer, live the cancer. It's when you're in it, and there is no what will happen in the future. Nobody talks about it because it's not promised, and nobody talks about it because it just you're so obsessed with when's the next time you're getting blood work, when's the next appointment, which doctor are you going to see, and it was turned into like one sort of monotonous Groundhog Day kind of thing where it was the same day. Oh, all right, well, we're in a hospital room today. We're in a doctor's office today. We're getting radiation today. And, you know, then we were done. And it was about a year later, and I was cleared so that I could go and live my life. And that process took about a year. At that point, I could barely move, but I had to go back to work because all the disability was done, and so then I had to find myself a job. And then I'm here with no hair, no uterus, and no connection to my divine femininity because it literally tried to murder me. And then
Mm,
I had to go and process that. That's something that nobody talks about.
no.
No, nobody talks about what will happen after your uterus is removed. The emotional and mental of having to figure out how I feel about that
Yeah.
when you look at society, and according to society, if you don't have a uterus, you're not a woman.
Well,
What?
you still have the energetic like blueprint is still there. The essence is still there. I think even if the organ was removed,
Yes,
you,
but
my
it
opinion,
it does take time
for sure.
to reconnect,
Mm,
to figure it out, to feel like a woman, like whether you are in a uterus bearing body or not.
mm,
And so that was, you know, chemo brain, not everything is all jumbled. And then we have to work, and we barely have the stamina to work, feed
mm.
myself. That didn't happen. Um, Pushing myself to do a little bit more every day so that I could actually have the stamina to start to live again.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And
Yeah, because you're
uh,
grieving. You're grieving the loss of your womb, right?
yes,
Where you, like
yes,
you mentioned, your divine, like all your femininity, everything that's divine of your womanhood is
yes,
is gone.
yes. And
You're
and
grieving.
and so I have hair, it's like an inch long, so I feel that I look like a boy. I
Mm,
was misgendered several times, and I know nobody did any of that on purpose. Um, and maybe we should just start calling each other human beings, or have some gender neutral term for everybody, you
mhm,
know, as a person, like that's a difficult thing. And then having conversations with myself about what femininity is, and then devising uh, ritualizing certain things to help me feel like a woman again here, even though I'm presenting as a woman. So
mm,
making fem feminine acts into a ritual, making them
Intentional
sacred.
ritual. Yeah.
Yes, yes, creating your own rituals, whether it's, a bubble bath with candles and chocolates or a glass of wine, or it's a date with your girlfriends and you go and you go shopping, whether it's pocketbooks, shoes, or lingerie, but it like that is a traditional, more feminine activity. Um, being older, I have some older values in regards to what I feel a woman should be. And everybody has their own definition. And I'm not arguing anybody's definition. Everybody has their own definition and it works for them as it should. We're going to go back to quote number two, which is my opinion. It doesn't matter, that.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, um,
Mm.
aromatherapy helped,
Mm.
flower essences, crystals, obviously walking around in the dirt helped.
Mhm.
Uh, Participating in pagan rituals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I definitely agree with that. Well, that's a lot of, finding ways to intentionally create sacred rituals and intentionally bring in more femininity back into your life, like reconnecting to your femininity, to your essence, and
Yeah,
that blueprint that's still there, even though the physical organ isn't there, you still have that essence within, even though you have to grieve the major container being gone. Um, and yeah, aromatherapy, shopping, all those things. You also, didn't you dye your hair this beautiful, vibrant blue?
oh yes, right now it's blue. I did dye my hair after my hair started growing in. We did purple for a little while. We did pink, green. I you know I love it. I love the vibrance. And for about 5 or 6 years now, I've been blue.
Mm.
Blue is, if you are interested at all in chromotherapy, blue is one of the two colors that heal. The other one is green, but green also is growth.
Mhm.
And if you if you have cancer, you don't want things growing.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I really identify with the blue. I think it looks good with my skin. It brings my eyes out. I feel magical with blue hair. Like it's part of my recaptured frivolity. You know what I mean? Like it makes me feel confident. It makes me feel good. And and we should all feel confident and good. We should all enjoy how we present.
Yeah,
And it blue hair makes me happy.
there you go. And it's, in the end, it's really what makes you feel comfortable, and not just comfortable, but confident. Confidence is the word I'm looking for.
I'm sorry, the dogs are barking. Can you say that again?
It's really about what makes you confident and what brings out your femininity, your self-esteem, how you shine into the world. Like if you're confident in your body and how you look, you're just gonna shine all the love, right?
Yes, and everybody can choose to ritualize things that make them feel more comfortable in the body that they have.
Yeah, well, ritual is about slowing down. If you slow down your day-to-day life and all the activities that you do, and you really just like bring it down, slow it down, and you notice, like for me, making my smoothie and for my morning snack is a ritual. It's like I put in so much like fruits and vegetables, and like sometimes I put some, different, powders and stuff. So just bringing that ritual, everything can be a ritual. When you go shower, it's a ritual. When what you
It
choose
is.
to wear for the day can be a ritual. Journaling in the evening, or creating your smoothie or your tea. Everything is a ritual if you choose it
I
to be.
I have coffee ritual.
There you
My
go.
husband and I have coffee together in the morning. It's the first thing that we do in the day. Right after his shower, we sit and we have coffee and we spend about 20 minutes together.
Mm.
Sometimes we talk, sometimes we sleep, but
Well, there you,
we're it's how we start our day without electronics.
yes,
It it helps create intimacy in the marriage, and I call it a coffee ritual.
there you go. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. It's intentional use of your time and
yes,
intentionally. It's kind of also like ritual is about romanticizing your daily activity. Like for you, you have your quality time with your husband in the morning where you can either just sit or just be together, right? Just soak in
yes,
the moment daily. That's beautiful.
yes, yes. And so I have a sitting room. I don't have a living room because there's no TV in it. So I have a sitting room. Sometimes the electronics get snuck in there, but I try hard to not.
Mhm.
But and there's an office for all of the office activities, so we can separate it. So doing stuff like that, creating the space for what you need is super important. And it doesn't have to be huge. It could be as simple as putting a couple of plants in your office so that you have more oxygen in there. It could be as simple like so whatever what yes, I'm looking at my plants over here.
Yeah.
They they bring me joy. And
Mhm.
one of the things I realized a month ago while I was going through my cancer journey, I had like 30 plants in my bedroom.
Mhm.
So I was sleeping in a more oxygenated area.
Yeah.
And maybe that had something to do with my healing too, right? So like everything, you know, essential oils, the detoxifying baths, the nature walks with the bare feet, just touching the earth, sitting on the earth, playing in mud, um, all of these things, sound
Oh,
healing, holding crystals,
mhm.
going to singing bowl meditations.
Oh yeah. But it's all the small things, they add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think that they do. And I think that all of the esoteric stuff was just as important as the chemotherapy, the
Mhm.
surgery, the radiation.
Yeah. Well, because it balances out the harshness of the intensity of chemotherapy, right? You kind of need to ground yourself after, I'm sure after like, I have no clue what a chemotherapy round is, but you know,
Oh,
I think like as you mentioned the statistics, everybody knows someone or has someone in their family who went through cancer and
yes,
most likely chemotherapy. And yeah, so just thinking about that, I would definitely be like naked. I would be sleeping naked outside, like until the start, like, oh my God, kill me.
bonfires, just spending a lot of time outside. I did do that when
Yeah.
I was going through my cancer. I was diagnosed in March. The hysterectomy happened May 5th, and then chemo started June.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of my healing happened, or my poisoning, but healing happened during the summer and fall. Um, so there was a lot of outside. There was a
Mm,
lot of outside. I was very fortunate that I had a solid, a rock star friends and family support group.
you
I
need.
had I had people babysitting me. One of my good friends was actually with me in the doctor's office when the diagnosis was given to me,
Mm,
and she was a former nurse. So
mm,
when the doctor said you have cancer, and my brain literally turned off,
yeah.
and all I heard was white noise. I could see her lips moving, but I didn't hear any of the other words that came out of her mouth after you have cancer. And Maddie caught it all, and she took me back to her house, sat me on her massage table, and said, "Okay, scream at God, cry, yell, do all of the things that you need to do, get all of your rage, frustration, and
Mm,
bullshit out right now, because tomorrow there will be none of that.
yeah,
Tomorrow starts when we're gonna kick cancer's ass.
yeah.
And
Oh,
that's what we did. After 5 years, you go back into the regular statistics. So,
mm,
but I like to look at it like this. I had two forms of cancer, which means, somebody else doesn't have to have some.
yeah. Oh, your perspective is so important, and I'm always amazed at how your cancer journey, it is so parallel to motherhood. Like, you need the support, you need the mindset shifts. You obviously you need nature to stay sane, and also like obviously to connect. But like
Yes,
what is needed to go through that cancer journey is much the same as the postpartum, the motherhood journey. You need that support. Otherwise, you're just going through an abyss. And obviously for cancer journeys, well, if you don't have all that support, if you don't have the proper mindset, the the healing modalities that are more natural, death ensues, you know?
it it does. My best friend from high school was with me while I walked my cancer journey. And about 8 years ago, she received her own diagnosis.
Mm,
And you can tell when somebody is actively choosing to live, and you can tell when somebody is not actively choosing to live. And you can be as frustrated as you want about the situation, but you also have to give that person grace, because you have no idea what their decision was to bring them to a place like that. And all you can do is love them and respect the fact that they made that choice and you don't get a say in it. And
yeah.
that is one of the hardest things to do. She's been gone about 5 years now.
Oh my, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I,
Sorry.
she had a hard life. She
Mm,
really did. And I can understand. I can like detach myself enough to understand that if you never had a break, why would you want to stay? And you know, again, it wasn't my choice. All I could do was hold space for her and love her enough to let her make her own decisions.
That's the hard part with every relationship, whether it's your spouse, your ex-spouse, your friends, your family. It's to really put yourself in their shoes. Sometimes we just want to control it, and we're like, but that's the wrong decision, you know? But sometimes it's really letting go of wanting to control, and like you said, emphasis on respecting their choice, respecting their decision, even if it's not the one that you would have done or the one that you want them to do. And that's hard.
Of course, right, you have to take your selfishness right out of the equation because it doesn't belong there. And that's hard. That's hard, you know,
Yeah,
for us as humans, because our ego gets in the way, and our greediness is not the right word, but our wanting the people that we love to just always be there. And that's not how this ride works.
letting the ego die to rebirth. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story. You are such
Welcome.
a powerful woman, and I am sure that many in the audience will resonate. It just like I'm a mother. I have not gone personally through that journey, but I resonate with it so much, and I find so many correlate. I don't know what's the word then, but like it just correlates so much. Pardon my
There you
French.
go.
But anyways, that's the French side.
Parallels.
Parallels. Yeah, I was trying to mix a few words. So anyways, where can we find you so that we can follow you and support you?
So you can find me on YouTube. Uh, find me on Spotify.
Okay, I'll be sure to
Power
put
Pan.
some links down in the
Okay.
description.
So the Power Pantaloons podcast can be found on Spotify. It can be found on iHeartRadio and iTunes, and a lot of different places where you you can access podcasts. But we'll make sure that you have my website as well.
Incredible. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to speak with you today.
Thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being on the Warrior Wildling Show, and I hope you have an incredible day.